welcome everybody to episode 8, of course. Really happy to have everybody here and have Ben tonight, of course. So, pretty much what we wanted to start this off with, guys, is wanted to get to know Ben a little bit and let everybody, you know, learn some things about this man. Because if you ain't know, this guy's a wheel man right here. He can wheel one of these cars. So, we just wanted to start a little Q&A maybe here, Ben. So, we'll see what his answer to these questions are. So, really, the first thing I'll throw at you, Ben, is before you started playing iRacing, what type of racing games did you actually like play?
So I've been playing racing games for probably about 17 years. So I've been playing since I was about 5 years old. Started on those old NASCAR games like NASCAR 2001, Gran Turismo 3, all those PS2 era, PS1 era NASCAR games. They got me started in the interest of the sport and racing in general. Um, just carried that all through when I was growing up, and I never really got a chance to get a real simulator until about 2013 when I got iRacing. Got a really junk little laptop and turned all the settings all the way down and ran with that really bad FPS. But I at least got my fill of that. Got me some practice and a good understanding of what it's going to take to be good at a simulator rather than just these games that I've been playing for so long. Even the newer Gran Turismos, they're nice, but they're just not on the same level.
Yeah, definitely. Brian, did you what did you play actually, Brian? Because I know you came into iRacing a little bit later too, so we can kind of all talk about what games you kind of played growing up.
Yeah, I like this actually. Because first racing game I ever played was Dirt to Daytona, and I love that game. And I got an emulator to play it on the PC. That was pretty cool. But I played the heck out of that game, and then moved on. Still like GameCube stuff, really. Um, Along with NASCAR Racing 2002. My parents got because they just got bored. I was like maybe 7 at the time, and I was just like, "Oh, this is cool." And then they bought a wheel. I was like, "Oh, that's really cool." And then they just quit using it, quit messing around. I mean, they would never really like race seriously or nothing. Just I guess the experience, but I would actually like do races and stuff and like do the career championship, and that's kind of how I got started. Then I modded it later when I was in my teens. Um, and then I kind of quit racing for the most part, but then came back to iRacing. And 2.5-ish years later, here we are.
Yeah, it's definitely how most starts out. I definitely really fond of the old NASCAR EA games. Especially like before '08 and stuff like that. I played a lot of that, so that's normal for a lot of people to play those. I feel like.
Oh yes.
I had to cough a little bit, but yeah, those are definitely some of the things that
Let's see.
started a lot of us out.
To Daytona was it on PS2?
Yes, that's the one I have.
Okay, that's that's interesting, and that's actually the same developers that do Heat,
Yep.
the Heat series, right?
That is pretty cool how it all came back around. But yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I think those games definitely lay the framework for us guys. Wanting to do stuff like this and have a great simulator like Iris. And so leading that to the next question for you there, Ben, is how did you actually find Iris and like what was your first introduction to it?
So I think my introduction to the sim itself would have been a YouTube video with Dale Jr. and something about like the world's fastest alien. I think it was something about Gregor Hutu.
Yeah, I have no
Um,
exact video. Yep.
I think that's the exact video that I looked at and I was like, wow, I have to get that.
Yeah.
And I did sort of, I got the laptop for school, but it was it was a laptop so I could take it with me, but I used it for school and that. So, um, Yeah, it wasn't great. I really couldn't have that many things on, as I said. So, but that's really what I had to do. I just saw it on YouTube, and I was like, "Yep, that's what I'm gonna have to do."
Definitely, yeah. I know that, really how I found iRacing was in 2014. I was going on YouTube like you were, and I stumbled across a guy named Empty Box, and he was racing, some of the oval stuff, and it just like it blew my mind. I was like, "Whoa, that that looks so realistic!" It just everything about it was mind blowing to watch, and I was like, "I have to have this." And I went out and got it. Is that kind of how it happened for you, Brian? Maybe a similar way.
Uh, it was actually more word of mouth for me, interestingly enough. Um, I was I had played a lot of NASCAR 2015, and I had, we had like a small league on there, and it was buggy. It was kind of not that great, and I don't know. One guy was saying about how, I don't know, somebody was telling him about iRacing. And I kind of looked into it, not too much. I Googled it real quick and just kind of looked it up, saw the homepage. I didn't really read anything. I was like, okay, that looks cool. And it just kind of carried on. And then I started to Rush Hour go karting. Ben knows where that is. That's right near us.
Yep.
Um, I found that and I started going there because I just had this itch to just like drive fast all the time. I just had this itch that I needed to scratch, and so I go there, but that still didn't do it. And then I took a trip to Charlotte, and there was another go karting place down there, and I went there, and one of the guys there was telling me, he asked me if I did iRacing. I was like, no, and he was telling me about it, and I was like, okay, this is like the second or third time I've heard about this thing, and people said I need to check it out. I think I ought to check it out. So I did, and like I said before, 2.5 years later, here we are.
Very nice, yeah. Um, yeah, man, it's pretty similar. Usually I do hear people saying, they came from the, watching a video or something, and that's pretty cool. You got it from word of the mouth, though, Brian. Like just hearing it. Really, the first time I heard it was when Marcus Ambrose did like an interview. I can't remember what track it was. It might have been Watkins Glen one time, and he said something about, "Oh, I was playing some iRacing." I was like, "What is iRacing?" But never really clicked to look at it. And then, 2014, I luckily stumbled upon across it. So it's
But I think what kept me away from it was that it was like iRacing. It
yeah,
sounded like
the
it was
name,
made by
A
Apple.
mobile game.
yeah.
Yeah, it sounded like it was made by Apple, and I was like, How can Apple develop this
Like
simulation?
iPhone,
It's like
lol.
this can't. That just doesn't work."
That's great. Well, yeah, it's definitely interesting always hearing how people come into the sim. And Ben, you were talking about you raced on a laptop, and where your humble beginnings were there. So, at the moment you are pro in the oval side of things on the Pecan Free Series. So what kind of sim racing hardware do you actually use right now in on your rig?
Well, that kind of opens up Pandora's box. I could talk a long time about that, but the main components I have are an i7 8700K, and I overclocked that to 5 gigahertz, so I'm pushing kind of
Ooh.
hard. But I also have a GTX 70, and that's also water. Um, those are the main parts that affect performance. So, especially for iRacing, CPU is very important.
Yeah,
Um, 16 gigs of RAM, all that stuff. Uh, yeah, that's what makes it run. That's the heart of my system. There, it's pretty good. I don't really have any issues anymore now that I upgraded to that.
definitely. What kind of like wheel and you using like any what type of wheel and pedals and I believe you have a butt shaker, right?
It's not called that, but it's kind of close. Um, so for the wheel, I have a Thrustmaster T300. And for the pedals, I am using the T3PA Pro pedals.
Okay.
They're getting a little old,
Ooh.
but I may upgrade soon. They seem right for me right now. It's working. So I also have the what do they call it? The Thrustmaster TH8A. I have that too.
Yeah.
And what you were talking about earlier. It's called a butt kicker.
Oh, butt kicker, not butt shaker.
Yeah.
Butt shaker.
It does do that, but
That's
Come on,
great.
Zach.
it
You know
does
Ben doesn't shake his butt.
it does do that. But I don't always use it because it's just you have to remember to turn the software on every time you turn your computer on. It's pretty cool. It's just my mom doesn't necessarily like when I do that because it shakes the house.
Yeah,
So
I
Shakes the
imagine.
house.
yeah,
That
it's
thing's
pretty
powerful.
violent.
Holy cow.
Like you can feel it through the house because
That's
it's like
amazing.
a giant truck coming by. You know what I mean? How
Yeah.
those deep
Yep.
bass sounds. Yeah,
Holy cow.
yeah,
Wow.
That's
pretty
crazy.
intense.
I didn't know it was like I knew it had something. I didn't know it was
And
like
that's just
that.
one butt kicker.
Yeah, I
That's
know,
just
That's
right?
one.
yeah,
Imagine if you had
One
like
butt shaker.
4,
Oh,
one in each corner.
yeah.
okay.
It's pretty insane.
I can't believe I called it a butt shaker. That's
Oh,
hilarious.
Butt shake.
you can't leave one important piece of sim racing
Oh,
hardware out. I have a
Oh,
VR headset,
yeah,
and
I was
so does
just about to
Brian.
add that. Yeah, my VR
yes.
Yeah,
brothers here.
Yes, yes.
yeah,
Yeah,
and that's a
Team Rift.
very imperative part of the way I race right now because if I don't have it, I can't race effectively. So
Yeah, but
it's the way I race
I
now.
think you're the only peak driver. I'm not sure, but I think you're the only peak driver to uses VR.
Yeah, it's not confirmed, but I think that is true.
Because I
Yeah,
believe I heard some guys
a lot of
talking
guys
about
do
it.
triple, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, most people do triples. I think some of the peak drivers do have VR, but they don't use it for peak.
for races. Yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, Ben
Huh.
stands out in that way. He's in the car, looking around. So but that's
Oh yeah,
really
did
cool.
I do you know about VR cover?
Yeah, I actually have one of those.
Oh,
Okay,
nice.
good, because I stumbled across it. I have it as well, and I forgot to tell you about it. I'm glad you found it. It's
I
great.
don't know when you got it, but I got it probably 2 months ago.
Yeah, same actually.
Oh, really? Okay, because my glue was falling off of the headset, and I needed like the face
Oh,
pad. I needed a
yeah.
replacement for that. I
Well,
didn't know it was
that's
gonna be a
it's
whole.
perfect.
Yeah, it's perfect. I got the one with the like nice felt cover that goes over it,
Yeah, me
and
too.
you just wash it when it's dirty, and that's it. Pretty awesome.
It's great, and it's so much cooler. The lenses, I don't know, like I always had a problem with my lenses fogging up when I first put it on,
Yeah, that happened with me too, and
and
now
it
that you
doesn't
say
happen
that, I
anymore.
haven't noticed it. Yeah, I have noticed that it's much better with the fogging. But the thing I like the most about the specific one that I got is since it's got that felt over the replacement pad, it actually blocks the nose light that used to come in. It blocks all of that. So the only thing I can see at all is the game
Oh,
Hmm.
nice.
Yep,
sim.
Yeah, Brian,
It's
you
pretty.
put a bunch of people into that in our league, at least.
I did. I came across it, and I was kind of sold immediately. Because I was looking how to like clean the foam,
Hmm.
the stock foam on it, and like there's really no way to clean it. It's tough to clean, and I didn't know you could take that off, and so I searched it on YouTube, and VR cover probably paid YouTube a little bit to have their video be one of the first few results. Um, but anyway, I watched it and was like, "Oh, this is perfect. Gotta have it." And then I was like, "Yeah, I know like 4 or 5 other people who use Rifts. I guess spread the word." And then a couple of people actually got some.
Yeah. Well, I gotta give a big shout out to everybody out in the chat. We got Keith, got Ed, we got Jerry, we got Robert. We got 11 viewers right now, guys. So thanks for
Oh,
everybody
that's
tuning in. Yeah, this is 12
hell
now,
yeah!
so it's going up steadily. And thanks for everybody tuning in, chilling, hanging
It's
out with us, and talking.
Victory Tuesday.
Yeah, yeah. If anybody y'all getting in a little late here, we did win the Road to Pro race tonight in fifth split, so we're up to 33rd in points. So 13 positions out of top 20 and doing good. Really happy with the win. That's for real sure. I was nervous about this race, and yeah, we came out with a victory, so we're happy about that. But we'll get back to these questions I've been asking Ben. I think these are really good actually. This is turning into some really good conversation. Um, so you got into iRacing, Ben, and then when did it really click? Like, okay, I want to go pro. Like, did what really pushed you to pursue this?
So before I answer that, I wanted to address one more thing about
Oh
the
yeah,
VR
go
cover.
ahead. Yeah.
Um, the only two drawbacks that I found with it are it always it makes the sensor that turns the screen on, it makes that always on.
Yes. Oh,
That's an issue that I've noticed that I can get around it, but it
if you
makes
kind of
docking
tug up
software.
on it, if you like go by the light and take
Yeah,
it and kind of tug up on it, it will turn off.
that's
Uh,
yeah, it's
but
just
you do,
easier to
yeah,
trigger. It just happens. And the other drawback is sometimes the nose piece comes off, and it like of the felt, it comes off and it's like hanging down, so you need to take it off and
yeah.
readjust. But I think that's a worthy trade-off of the way it performs. It's well, it's very good.
Uh,
Um,
Where can everybody find that? What's it exactly called again?
I'm
So,
pretty sure it's just VR
I
cover. You'll
think it's
find it.
right, VR
yeah.
cover.
Let
Yeah,
me.
Okay. Yeah.
there's several different packages of it.
Oh yeah,
Like,
it's literally vrcover.com.
hmm there's
And they
different.
have it for multiple devices as well,
Yeah, the
headsets,
Vive Pro, the HTC Vive,
Wow. Okay.
Oculus Go.
Yes. Any
mobile
VR people
stuff.
out there, definitely check that out. It seems like a
They
pretty
have
big
shirts.
improvement for y'all. So.
All
Wait,
right,
I
now back
can't.
to your question.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
we're not sponsored.
Also,
What the
shout
hell?
out to everybody tuning in. Greg, welcome. See you out in the chat too. Thank you for chatting it up. But yeah, the when did you really decide you wanted to pursue the pro scene, Ben?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
It's hard to pinpoint exactly where it was. I'd have to say I decided pretty early that that was my goal, but I don't think I really got serious about it until around 2017.
Yeah.
So it took me a couple years to just get my experience up and get my confidence up where I could actually foresee myself actually making it there. I knew it was going to be tough. Um, I did a lot of leagues, and I still do a lot of leagues, and it got my. I just needed to regularly race and just get with a group of guys that know what they're doing. Like Bobby Zielinski, he's in
Yep.
peak with it too. I raced with him a lot. Marcus Richardson, they taught me a lot of what I know. Um,
Definitely.
whether they wanted to or not, they still taught me a lot. Uh, yeah, so experience is very, very valuable, and that's where I got it. I got it in leagues, and I was just like, yeah, I gotta follow this as far as I can get. And back then, it was kind of hard to see how I would get there, but with my generation of drivers that were coming up, I think it was in 2018 we did Road to Pro.
Yeah.
Um, that was we were the guinea pigs for Road to Pro. Like we were the first one. So I'm not sure if that helped me or hurt me because I didn't make it the first time I did the Pro series. But I got wrecked a lot anyway. So um, that doesn't help when you get wrecked a lot.
That's for sure.
It's same thing happened in Road to Pro, honestly. But it just perseverance, perseverance, and you gotta have confidence in your experience. That's the biggest thing that you gotta have. Because if you don't have confidence, it's just not gonna happen.
Yeah, definitely. I remember when we first raced. I remember I first raced you. I was like, man, this guy's got. You can tell when someone's got that it factor, and you can tell immediately when you won I think our Charlotte race, the first race you ever did, Race for Freaks, by like 12 or 13 seconds. I was like, man, this guy's fast. And like it's just amazing to see you grow from there, man. I mean, you went to SRA and rode there, and that's a great place. Anybody looks out there, like that is a great building block for experience, like you said, to race against top notch, you know, like you said, Zelensky. You got guys like Richardson. There's a lot of other guys in there too that have come around. Really, a lot of people raced in there that are really really good drivers, and that's really a big thing is this track time. You put the track time in my opinion, to get to where you're at now, and I think a lot of people try to skip that track time, but something you need definitely.
Yeah, I mean, if I go back to the SRA conversation, it's Sim Racing Authority for people that
Yeah,
that don't know what it stands for. I think that I don't remember what the confirmed number was, but I think 5 or 6 peak drivers came through that league to get there.
yeah,
So it's a good league if you're trying to get the skills.
that
There's
is for
people
sure,
that know
man.
what they're doing in there. Um, it's very competitive, and you come in there and you'll get some experience whether you're running in the back or in the front. So it's pretty good. I've used it and it's got me where I am.
Yeah, that's for
Is
sure,
it
man.
open or
It
fixed?
is fixed setup.
Fixed.
Okay.
That's another thing. I think people should race more fixed at the beginning of their skill,
I
like
think
gaining.
until you're confident
Yeah,
with pretty much everything you do, you need to be in fixed.
definitely. I completely agree there, Ben.
Just focus on the driving. That's all you need
Yep,
to focus on because driving. If you don't have the driving, the setup's not going to matter.
exactly,
So it's
exactly.
very important. Yeah.
Definitely, man.
If you can't drive the fix, chances are you're not going to be able to drive anything faster.
Right. Yeah, and it teaches you good things. The fix does just because you can see other drivers, guys' driving style for certain situations when the car just ain't working for you, and learn things. That's for sure. You learn every time you race. That's what I like to say. So you know, when you go pro too, Ben, like you had to find a race team, and how did you come across your race team? You can go ahead and tell everybody what race team you race for, and you know, kind of how that all played out for you getting on a team.
I'm sorry. What did you say? I
Oh,
was having an issue with
oh no, you're
someone
fine.
behind me.
I was pretty much asking, you're on a race team, and you had to find, pretty much a race team to race on, and just how they found you or you found them, like the Pinnacle Racing Group that you're on right now.
Yeah, it's a funny story. I didn't start on Pinnacle Racing Group, but I kind of
Oh yeah,
started on an
true.
affiliate. Uh, Sort of the leader of Pinnacle Racing Group was the leader of the team that found me, which was Next Esports. Um, so what happened was I don't know what year it was, but it had to be at least 3 years ago, I think. Uh, I think we were doing just some Charlotte fixed races in the A car, the Cup car, and it was just me. I was in a it was an official race, and I just was displaying my ability to save tires. It worked a little differently than it
Yeah,
does now. But I was doing really well. I was saving my tires. I got good finishes consistently. And Zach Hudson, who is the leader of Nexus, saw that. 'Cause he watches fixed races. He was a pretty good recruiter. Um, he saw that and he contacted, said, "You want to be on the team? You want to, you know, work your way up? Maybe we can go pro in the near future." And I was like, "Okay, yeah, that's definitely what I want to do." Because at that point I was, trying to be serious about it. I was trying to hone my skills because I knew I wasn't quite good enough to get there yet. So,
definitely.
and at that time I was still doing all leagues. Um, but yeah, it's pretty much just started from there. He just saw that I was saving my tires well, and at a time where people would usually start falling back, I was going to the front. Um, that's another thing. Back when I started, I actually had a big problem with just getting concerned with short runs. Like I was really concerned,
Yeah,
and especially in fixed. Open's a little different, but I was really concerned about being slow in fixed. So I would push harder than especially in the truck or something. I would just push way too hard, thinking that that would help, and it really didn't. You just hit the wall. That's all that's going to happen.
definitely.
You hit the wall out of the corner, and uh, the biggest part of that to get better is just slow down. Like
Yep,
I know it sounds dumb, but you got to slow down before you go fast. It works that way in real life. You're not going to go out there and run the car as hard as you can and hit the wall and expect to get more chances at it. You
exactly.
have to work up to it, even if you had the ability, like you do in iRacing, hit reset. It's not really going to help you. You have to work up to it, and even if you don't necessarily get the skill from it at that time, you'll understand that you don't have to push that hard. You can just go a little slower and finish, and then you'll get faster and faster by finishing. Just the
Yeah,
finishing part of it is important because I would just wreck all the time when I started. I didn't understand it, and uh, I see a lot of rookies make that mistake. Um, I did it too, so I got past it, and I'm gonna stop rambling on now.
yeah. No, you're good, man. You're giving great information. Really, I'm sure everybody out there loves it. I mean, you're definitely a good man to, talk to about stuff like this. And, it, I gotta commend Zach Hudson for having a good eye because he found a definite gem of a driver.
I
Just
appreciate that.
watching, and it takes good eyes to notice stuff like that, and that's really important. That's really cool. So yeah, that's really that. And well, now also switching to like team, that's your, I guess you could call. It's kind of weird right now in the, in the NASCAR PKM Free Series with the teams being drafted, and you were picked up by Team Dylan Esports. I believe only was it 2 weeks ago, Ben? Right? Or it would be 3 weeks ago.
I think it was about 3.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So 3 weeks ago, you were picked up by Austin Dillon's esports team. So how did uh how'd that feel?
Well, it's definitely a bit of a surprise. I didn't think I was gonna get picked that quickly, especially considering my qualifying efforts have not been great. But that's neither here nor there. That's qualifying's qualifying.
Definitely.
Um, I was surprised that I got picked by a team that's so closely affiliated to a real world team. I thought when I got picked up, I thought it would be more like just an esports team, not necessarily a team that was made for iRacing. I thought it was just going to be a team
Yeah.
that just does other a general esports. Oh, I mean, it wouldn't be a bad thing. I'm just saying I was very surprised that I got a racing focus. Um,
That is,
I
yeah.
don't know. I don't know if I'm explaining that correctly, but I think you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. No. Pretty much what you're saying is it's cool to have a team that's associated with real life racing. Like
Yes.
they have. I mean, what is it? Team Dylan the management. I can't.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
misquoting that. That's
they're the
the
same thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, they manage NASCAR drivers. I mean, so
Hmm.
I think John Hunter Nemechek, Ty Dillon's under it. There's a lot of guys under that, and that's it's also be associated with. I mean, didn't you get a chance to go up to RCR too? I think.
Yeah, actually, the day after they contacted me, they invited me to their shop down in Welcome, North Carolina. I'd live about 2 hours away from there, so it's it was definitely an experience that I'll never forget. Uh,
That
I spent like the whole day there.
is
They
awesome, man.
treated me very, very much like
One
sort
of
of
their own.
like one of their drivers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
that's cool.
it was awesome that they took me to meet everybody, and they didn't like I was a visitor. It was more like I was there to be part of the family, which was very
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. It wasn't like just a tour thing. It
Yeah,
was more
no.
of a welcome to our little our little cult over here.
Yeah, especially because I got to drive the Chevy simulator and everything,
Oh
and
my god.
that was
Oh
so cool.
yeah.
You
Wow.
lucky. Oh well, you did. I
Yeah,
can't call you lucky because you earned every bit of it, but I gotta give you that. So
it's always a little bit of luck
I
because
mean,
I
it
could have.
definitely takes luck to get where
Yeah,
always in some places. Racing is sometimes luck, but I mean, I'd hate to tell them that they. I mean, not hate to tell them, but I'd have to tell them they couldn't have found really a better driver, and just really just well mannered everything, man. You got everything going for you, and we're really proud. I mean, when we heard that news, oh my gosh, we were mind blown, weren't we, Brian? I think I texted you while I was actually running at the time when I found out, and
Yeah, I think I
I
was at
immediately
work and
texted
you
Brian.
texted me.
Yeah, I was like, dude, Ben got on
It's like
Austin
that's
Dillon's
cool.
esports team, and just that was
And that was on a Tuesday.
yeah,
Yeah, I remember
yep,
because you told me, and then you told me that Ben told you that he was going to RCR the next day,
yep.
which was, and Ben, I remember, I told Zach this. I remember thinking, it's like, hey, Wednesday, I have Wednesdays off. I could offer Ben a ride.
He was already
I was
looking
like,
how to get
nah,
into it. He's a
nah, I
little
shouldn't do
schemer.
that.
No, man, that is so cool though, dude. We're so proud of you for that, man. That's no, you really deserved it, and just really cool to see get the backing like that. That's amazing.
So I guess
yeah.
sorry, but are there other RCR perks in the future? I guess.
I
I
don't
don't know how
know.
much you can and can't say, but are they gonna take you to tracks and take you to races and sit on the box or
Um,
something like?
Maybe
I
Charlotte,
don't know. I
possibly you
really
could
don't
go.
know. It's I guess it's not out of the question, but
Yeah.
nothing nothing's definitely like confirmed. Like I'm going here, I'm
Yeah.
going there. Nothing's like
I
that.
believe your
Okay.
teammate
Um,
Blake, he went to
I didn't
Texas with
know
him,
how
right?
far
Because he
the.
lives in
yeah.
Texas.
I don't know how that worked in terms of,
Yeah.
but
Still,
um,
yeah.
I know he went and met up with them there. That was pretty cool. He told me that a lot of the stuff he did there was very interesting. It's sort of similar to what I did, but just
Yeah.
not at the race shop. Um, yeah. So I don't know how much I'll do,
Yeah.
but I'm very excited for the future.
Definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
We got actually a question in chat for you, Ben. So, Greg out here in chat, he asked us, "How was that sim, the Chevrolet simulator?"
Ah, the Chevy Caesar. um, I will say the most impressive part about it was the equipment I used.
Yeah,
Um, the sim itself, I think, was R Factor 2 Pro,
yeah,
but with a custom physics model that obviously I'm not privy to the details of.
yeah,
But uh, I will say if you're used to iRacing and how cars in general feel, it's very loose in terms of iRacing.
yeah.
It's not. It's very loose. They just go into the corner and the car just wants to spin. Even with the 2019 package, that kind of happened. Uh, and there wasn't a lot of steering wheel feel. I'm not
Okay.
sure if that was the way they did the force feedback or what. I don't know how R Factor 2 Pro works at all, but I just know that it felt quite different. I wouldn't say that it was better or worse. It's hard to say because I know they use real data.
Yeah,
So uh, that'd be more of a question for their expertise, the engineers.
definitely.
So, um, or maybe Austin Dillon. He's a good one to input on that.
Right. Yeah.
He was there with us doing that too. Uh, but in terms of equipment, yeah, we were using everything that you could imagine that you'd want to do a simulator. Really, direct drive wheel with the real oval wheel, um, real Gen 6 digital dash.
That's so cool.
Basically 180 degrees of curve,
Curved
ultra
screen.
wides.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Wow.
that's
just
Was it a motion?
no. That's the only thing it didn't have motion. Uh,
Okay.
it had everything else you'd want though. The real gearbox from the real car, same thing, and the pedals were incredibly realistic. Brake had a master cylinder in it, incredibly hard to push.
Had a
Um,
master cylinder.
yeah,
wow.
What?
hydraulic brake pedal.
That's so
Holy
cool.
cow.
That's so cool,
Yeah,
man.
that brake was hard.
I
Yeah,
bet. I bet.
yeah,
What tracks did you
that
drive
brake.
on it?
I drove on Kansas with the 2018 package,
Oh, okay.
and I drove Texas with the 2019 package. And that was
How was Texas?
interestingly enough, the
Because the new
new,
track, yeah.
yeah, it was the new Texas. Well, first of all, Kansas was loose, like I said.
Yeah.
Uh, I wrecked it a few times, mainly because I couldn't feel what I was doing. Like I understood that it was going to be, but I couldn't tell when it was going to get. I just went around. That's kind of just what happened. I
Yeah.
didn't notice. It was sort of visual. I had to know, but I did back it off and got used to it. But Texas was more like, okay, engineer said we gotta get you flat. Should be flat around the track. Just easy. So I go into turn one at speed and car just loops. I'm like, okay, that didn't work. And he said, okay, we missed the setup. uh, yeah, so I mean, I'd back it off a little bit. It was a little too loose, I would say. Uh, they just said they missed it, so I
Yeah.
think Austin got in and after that, and they fixed the car and it was fine. But
Nice.
it was pretty
Okay.
awesome.
That is awesome, man. That's really cool.
were were you more excited or more nervous?
But I think it was pretty much a mix of both
Yeah, I
because
bet. I bet. Yeah, I can only
there
imagine.
were
I would be so nervous.
there were quite a few people watching me that know what they're looking for.
Right.
So
Yeah.
Ugh.
um,
Oh, that's scary.
I was kind of honored though.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly. Yeah. That is
Mm,
man, that's so cool, dude. That's one of the coolest things I've heard all like in a while. That's
you
very
would not believe
fascinating.
they're building either. Oh my,
I bet. I can only
all
imagine.
the technology.
Hey,
That's
what'd they feed you?
No, we just went to Subway.
nice.
The subway.
Yeah,
They didn't.
I'm not fussed
Cook,
about
you know
that.
that they
Yeah,
don't have
Brian.
a
They love
chef.
driving
They
simulator.
They
They
don't.
love
They
driving
don't have a
dick.
they
chef.
did enough for me.
I think Brian
I
thinks
went
too much
with
about his
them.
stomach.
Hey, hey, no, I've seen Childress Winery, and I ate at that bistro over there. That
I've
food's
been there
pretty
before.
good.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, that's
I don't expect all that.
yeah.
I
No,
just want to be part of racing.
exactly.
Oh, I
That's
wouldn't
exactly.
expect it. I was just curious. I
Okay.
know,
Brian's
it's
thinking of his own
we in the
questions here.
South, got some Southern hospitality.
Oh god.
Oh, trust me, they were nice though.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah.
They were very generous and very nice.
Yeah, I saw he was
I
playing
could
Call of Duty, right?
Yeah, awesome.
That's
I couldn't
awesome.
have expected a
I
better
I
day out of
love
that.
that.
That is so cool, man. Well, on to the next question here for you, Ben. So you're part of the Peak Series now. What's like the goal for the season? You think? What's like what do you have as your main like thing you want to achieve?
So the most realistic goal I have right now is we need to stay in the top 20 and um
Exactly.
we just fell out of it last race, but that
Yeah.
doesn't mean we can't recover. Talladega's next, so that could be anywhere, honestly. Anything can happen at Talladega.
Huge gains, huge
Yes,
gains.
huge gains. Um, that's the main goal for the whole season is just to stay in the top 20, to
Yeah.
not have to work my way back in the series next year.
Yeah. Because if
If I can
anybody
get
out
more, that's
there,
gravy.
yeah, definitely. And if anybody out there doesn't know, the way it works in the Peak Series is top 20 in points lock themselves into the next Peak Series that year. Now, if you're the bottom 20, you will have to race against the top 20 coming from Road to Pro. So they'll go into the Pro Series. And then that top 20 will be, racing the Peak. So Ben's trying to stay in that top 20, keep his Peak position locked in. So don't want to have to go back down to the Pro Series and have to redo it all over again, right?
No, it was stressful enough the first time. I don't really want to do it again. So,
Exactly, yeah.
yeah.
And I think you've been doing pretty good because this or last week you had your
That was
worst
tough,
finish,
yeah. That was a tough finish.
and you went from 14th to what did you say, 21st,
25th,
25th? Okay, so you dropped 9 positions. So I mean,
11th.
Yeah, 11.
oh, math. It's almost
Math.
midnight. But uh, but I think you're right in that perfect position. 20th is very realistic, which is which is good. I like that. I like seeing.
Yeah, I
Definitely.
mean, we have good race pace. Besides Richmond,
Yeah.
every other race we've had decent
You seem to have
racing.
good long
It's
run cars. I've watched a lot of
Yeah,
lap times. Like, seems like y'all always fire off a little bit slower, but then y'all really start to pick up as the run goes on. So, is it hard to find that balance for y'all? Like,
it's not so much the balance; it's more of
well,
maybe at Richmond, but
yeah, yeah. Well,
uh,
I wouldn't really say the balance of the car, but more the balance between short and long run speed.
yeah, that's the thing. Mid run speed is a big goal because
Yeah,
if you have mid run speed, you're usually like okay at the
at the
rest of
beginning.
everything.
Yeah,
So then you're usually like the best average. You know?
exactly. Yeah,
Um, we've had good race pace, especially at Texas. We had a really good race
yeah. Y'all
car.
definitely did.
Just qualifying really held us back there. 35th place, not no bueno there, but um, we just got to get our qualifying pace better, and we can do some big things.
Definitely, man. We're looking forward to that for sure. We're all out there watching every time you're out there. So don't ever think you might be all alone in the sim, but we're out there watching with you and rooting you on. So it
I appreciate that.
oh no problem, bud. You've
Every
been there for
single
us
week.
all our time. So uh, I know we get it. I mean, like it's awesome watching you run. I gotta say that. I mean, me Brian,
Yeah.
usually
Well,
Bobby, a bunch of us usually watch it all together. And, sit there the whole time watching. We moved our podcast back to 11 just to be able to watch your peak races every.
Oh,
Because
that's awesome.
yeah, well, we were going to move it back to 11 on our road to pro races since we can't really start till 11 in there anyways. But we figured, why not do every week at
peak is
11?
every
So
other. It's the other week, and we were like, well, if we just move it back to 11 every
at least
week,
we
and
get to
we can
watch the
watch
end of the
peak
peak
race.
race. Yeah, exactly. So at least we always get that. And we always usually talk about a little bit of it. How you did and how you're doing the points. I believe last week we didn't talk about it too much. Just we didn't want to bring up the
Yeah.
tough finish there at the end. We got a pretty eyes on view from it too.
You can you can bring it up. It's
Yeah,
important to understand
yeah,
the
ups and downs
failure.
of things. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
definitely.
and as much as I want to avoid it, it's just it's important, especially for when you do progress, you get to the top. You look back on that stuff
Right,
and you realize how far you've come and how sweet it feels to be at the top, or at least near the. So I can't
definitely.
wait to get there, but these experiences are making that future experience even better. So I'm looking forward to
All right. Well, I only have only have two more questions really for you, and then we can kind of talk anything else like Richmond this past weekend NASCAR, and then Talladega a little bit, maybe fit that in there a little bit. But do you do you have a favorite racetrack or like any tracks circled on the the peak schedule coming up, Ben? Like anywhere you're like really excited to go to?
So I think if I was gonna have to circle a track, it'd probably be the Charlotte Oval.
Yeah,
Coming up in not that long from now, actually.
yeah, I believe
But
it's
yeah, yeah, it might be right after Talladega.
yeah. I'll actually
Um,
Okay.
check that out for you.
yeah, but that would have to be probably on the top of my list. Unfortunately, a few of my favorite tracks are not on the peak schedule,
Yeah,
like Atlanta and Dover. But they, oh, it's Kansas is right after
Kansas and
Talladega.
Charlotte. Yeah,
Yeah, so it has to be Charlotte. I'm looking forward to those. I'm also looking forward to the road course
yeah. I was
at
about
the
to ask you about that one because I know.
both
Oh, did we go to Watkins Glen also? Or no,
no
we go to
Sonoma
Roval.
and
That's
Roval.
right.
Yeah,
Ah, yeah. Okay. Yeah,
so
Yeah,
nice.
that would have to be it. Uh,
you're gonna be really good there.
At the
I
You
Roval, Sonoma's a little more sketchy, but the
yeah,
Roval, I like the Roval quite a bit. It's very challenging and rear tires, rear tires,
definitely,
rear tires.
definitely.
I don't know how
Yeah,
you whip stock cars road courses.
Yeah, you're amazing at yeah. You really are. Like I mean,
I
if you
try
think
it and
about
I
it, Ben,
can't.
this should I think road courses are going to be your some of your best chances to get maybe even crack into that top 10. Maybe you never know. You know what I'm saying? Like because you've shown speed at road course races with the best at road course stock car racing. I mean, you can do it. So it's just gonna take a little hard work, and I think you never know what could happen with those road course races. So I've definitely got those circled for me as like a fan to watch. I'm excited for those. And Charlotte, of
yeah.
course, you're a man in Charlotte, that's for sure.
I think the ones that I'd have to be not looking forward to would have to be, I guess maybe Kansas because I'm not a fan of that way that track race.
Yeah.
Um, that and Kentucky.
Ooh,
Kentucky's just
Kentucky's
not
gonna be
great.
interesting with this new package. Lat.
I've driven that and fixed. It's kind of annoying, but
Yeah, I bet the 30
uh,
years nice.
Darlington will be interesting.
Yeah,
New package. I have not driven that yet. There,
Indy probably be
but
crazy.
yeah, Indy's gonna be bad with aero push.
Yeah,
We're gonna be hitting the
yeah, it's gonna
wall a
be the
lot
Indy
if we're
car.
not
It's
careful.
worse.
Yeah,
That's gonna be interesting. Yeah, so definitely got
Michigan
some
is gonna be a
interesting
super speedway
schedule.
race.
Yeah, that's gonna be a super speedway race. Michigan will definitely be a super speedway race. So really last question before we can talk about some NASCAR stuff. You stream on YouTube and you do a lot of stuff on your YouTube page. So when did you really start streaming and like uploading on YouTube and make sure to let them know where they can find your stuff at?
Yeah, I think I don't remember exactly when I started. I think it was late 2017. Started at least uploading a lot.
Yeah,
Streaming, I think it was around 2017. Um, I don't know why I started. I think one of my friends just suggested that I should stream it, and I did. I don't really think it goes any deeper than that. Um,
yeah,
but it's pretty fun for me. I currently don't stream the peak races only because I don't have just a way to block out
the
the
way to block.
invitation.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
it could be possible. I just don't want to risk it at this time until I
Yeah,
have everything worked out. So I think it'd be pretty cool to do that. It's just I don't have it quite there yet. So you can find me. Actually, I don't stream on YouTube for some reason because it doesn't work right now.
okay.
I'll look into that, but Twitch definitely works. It's at in there too. So the word in and word there and number two. That's where you can find me. That's usually where all the streams will be I think I stream mostly every Sunday and Monday. Uh, that's about it for the streaming as
Yeah.
right now. Yeah.
So you've been streaming on Twitch lately?
Yeah.
Okay, because yeah, Timber, I thought I didn't notice YouTube the streams anymore for like the last, I'd say 2 weeks or something. So
Yeah, it just hasn't been working.
okay, Timber. So yeah, I'll have to check it out there on Twitch now because I usually watch those. So didn't even know about it. Thanks for still streaming though because I love watching streams, man. So
The videos on demand should be there.
yeah,
If you want
they
that.
definitely should be. Twitch has a VOD, so that's awesome. Uh, all right, well, thanks for letting us get all these questions. It was probably a long one there, but we can talk a little bit about NASCAR. So another question for you is, who is your favorite NASCAR driver been, or who do you root for, or what was your like idol, I guess maybe.
So I think for me, it definitely have to be Jimmy Johnson.
Okay.
Um, I like to think that I am close in his demeanor. I am not necessarily close in his driving skill. Maybe down the line somewhere I might be close, but uh, we have a similar attitude
I
from our
you know
outlook.
That's
that's
true. I've
that's a
never
very good
realized that.
comparison. Yeah, I'd have to say it's a very good
Yeah,
comparison.
Uh,
that's
Very
Obviously,
level-headed
when are you
drivers.
gonna run a Boston Marathon?
Yeah, right.
I don't know about that. If I trained for years beforehand, not at this stage.
God,
I
that was
just
amazing.
yeah, that's he is one of the most incredible athletes that is on this planet, in my opinion.
That is a fact for sure, my friends. Yeah, it's amazing. If anybody out there didn't know, Jimmy Johnson did run the Boston Marathon. Was it yesterday? Yeah, it was yesterday, right?
Yes,
Yep, Monday.
Um, yeah, and he did it in
in
3 hours
just
and
over
7 minutes.
3 hours.
Yeah, his
Yeah,
goal was to do under three
under three
hours,
hours.
but still,
There
that's
are so many people in the world that can't run a marathon at
oh,
all.
exactly.
Shit.
The average
Me,
time is in the 4 hours, so
Yeah,
he was very above average, and he was very close to his goal. But I mean, I'm pretty sure his goal was just to
and
finish.
the
So.
winner actually let him wear gold medal.
Yeah, I've seen that too. It was really cool. So anybody that says NASCAR drivers aren't athletes, Jimmy Johnson proved that wrong. I'd like to see
I
Tony Stewart run a
I
marathon.
think that's
They might have to put a donut on any string, like hanging
hey,
out in front of him.
Tony's actually been
No, he's actually
been
pretty fit now.
yeah, he's
He
toning
has
up.
is
lost.
he really?
He has, Brian. He
Yeah,
has actually. Yeah, he's been
Tony's
working.
actually turning a leaf on that.
He definitely
Yeah.
after he
That's
got in the car,
interesting.
he's like, you know what, time to lose
It's
pounds.
funny.
Really, the last 2 years he
Na-
started to lose some weight.
NASCAR made him fat.
Well, the one year he won the that what was 2011? He was pretty big that year.
Yeah,
He was
It
a big
was
boy.
the years he was climbing the fences.
Fence,
You
yeah.
gotta take those
yeah.
fences down.
Oh man, yeah. I love that guy. He's a great character. But we had a race at Richmond this past weekend, and you raced the Peak Series this past the weekend. Last Tuesday at Richmond, and we seen a first time short track winner in Martin Truex Jr. So what was y'all's opinions on the race? Really, I had a league race going on during the race, so I didn't get to watch the whole thing, but I got to watch most of the ending back over, and I was pretty impressed with the ending. I mean, I've heard some pretty crazy stories from the drivers, but what y'all think?
Who wants to go first?
You can go, Brian, if you
You
want.
can go. Oh, okay. Uh, I mean, I still haven't really watched much of it. I know Truex won. Boyer was close.
Logano
Something happened with Logano.
and
I think
Brad.
Kyle Larson didn't finish the race again.
Yeah, he's having a
Uh,
rough year.
so it was pretty much just your standard NASCAR race all over.
Yeah.
So
It was Bristol cycled slightly.
I flatter Bristol. So from what I saw, I saw basically the whole race.
Yeah,
Um, it was a very typical Richmond race.
yeah,
Just with a different package, they were hauling the mail a little bit more than
definitely.
with a little bit more than they did in years past. Um, they were going pretty fast. I think Arrow played a little bit of a part more than it used.
Yeah,
Um, and I didn't quite expect it to play that big of a part. I guess you really have to have a much better car than the
right.
other than the other competitors to really have an advantage over the dirty air. But um, commenting on the finish, I think if if Logano just had got by Boyer just a lap earlier, I think he would
Yeah,
have won that race. But it just a lot of people were getting mad at Joey for not
moving them.
being consistent.
Yeah,
Yeah, he did it last year to win in Martinsville.
yeah,
They really in this with the same driver, but he just didn't want to do it. He definitely could have. He was there. He
yeah.
was right.
That last corner, he could definitely. It could have been a
Could
car
have done it.
leverage on Kyle Busch. That was.
Yeah, he definitely could have done it. It was a great finish. I like the build up to it.
Yeah, the last
Um,
20 laps were really good because you had
yeah,
Boyer and Truex racing side by side. Um,
I feel for Boyer too.
yeah,
Oh,
because
sorry.
if Boyer could have gotten the lead, I think he could have
Especially the
won.
past few weeks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Boyer's been so close a lot of the times. Had really fast cars this year, but yeah, like you were saying with the arrow, been we had I think it was 11 cars fell post or really pre-race inspection because that is an impound race with
Oh
qualifying,
boy.
and
Oh, don't get me started.
Yeah, Brian hates Brian. If you didn't know this, guys, Brian hates rules.
I know
Just
I
any
don't hate
rule that is
rules.
broken, he don't think anybody should be penalized for. But
I just hate all of these tedious penalties NASCAR's hand.
I know, I understand that. But what I want to get to is
Tedious.
like, is 11 guys, had to start at the back. These are pretty fast cars. I mean, like 3 or 4 of them were cars that are going to run the back already. Um, but like at least 8 of them were top tier cars, and really only one guy got in the top 11. That was Denny Hamlin. And he had a comment I saw from one of the reporters, and they asked him how tough it was to pass all night. And he said, well, I didn't think it was going to be that hard to get up through the field, but it was the hardest he's ever had, like a time passing at Richmond. So I definitely think aero played a factor because Martin Truex Jr. even said when you caught a car, or a lap car, or even like a decent lap car, because they were catching pretty good lap cars at the end. I think it was like Chase Elliott. They were catching it in the tail end of the long or tail end of the lead lap, and he said it was like driving on black ice. So interesting, for that. That definitely
kind of how
intrigued
I
me.
felt in the race.
Is that were you really loose?
I was I was loose, tight, and loose.
So just lack of
So
grip, yeah.
yeah, I was
Overall,
just all over the place. Yeah,
yeah. It was. I think it was pretty tough actually to pass. I mean, look at Kyle Busch. I think Kyle Busch had really the best car. Um, for a majority of the
yeah.
race, he looked like he had the strongest car. But he got that speeding penalty, and he only got back to 8th, I believe. So
Execution is
it really has come into a factor in in the Cup Series. Like if you make a mistake, you're usually kind of screwed. I mean, you can see really fast cars. That's my thing. Is like the Cup races now are almost like hidden gems. It's like you have a car that's running like 8th or 9th. That car, if it was in the lead, you never know. That thing might be a rocket ship. So
it kind of is the same in peak.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, definitely.
if you get a penalty, you're really in bad shape because it's hard enough to pass when you have a really good car. Like you're dominant, it's hard enough to pass. But
Exactly.
if you were a 8th place car and you get a penalty, it's gonna be
A long night
really
or a
tough
long day.
trudging. Yeah,
So I think this new package. The thing a lot of people said at Martinsville, I know because Martinsville, a lot of people were saying they didn't have the fall off that they were expecting due to the higher downforce not spinning the tires as much. And I know Richmond is known for spinning the tires all the way to the start finish line. It's like one of the only tracks we go to that you'll literally cross start finish line and you'll be lighting them up. And it is interesting to see this bigger rear spoiler, higher downforce package really um how it affects the racing. I mean, I think we had a great race. I mean, short track racing still produces good races, but I think the aero definitely came in effect this week.
yeah, for sure. Um, if you commenting on the package in iRacing, I think it actually does make the racing better, but in a
Yeah,
different way.
yeah,
Because
I could
before
see that too.
we could race we could race sort of just wherever we wanted, wherever the fastest line was, and it didn't matter what anybody else did. That's good, and it looks nice. Like if you're looking at the race, watching it, it looks cool, but it's very static. It's
Yeah,
very when you look at it from the experience we have with the package now, very static with the way the B car drives truck. You don't have to move. You don't have to react to other cars unless you physically have them in your way. So with the new package, it's much more realistic. That like, you have to worry about what other cars are doing, regardless of
Right.
whether they're physically in your way or not. And
Definitely.
it's a much more realistic mindset.
I completely agree with you there. I actually was leading our league race. I led the most laps and felt really confident. Had a great long run speed and spun the car all by myself in front of the field and put myself
You
back there with
choke,
40 laps to go and only got up to
choked on it.
back to six. So yeah, this package is interesting. I think the iRacing. I had a great time at Richmond with the fix setup. At least it was, and I felt very very fast personally. So I enjoyed it. Definitely interesting with this new package. It's so fast on short tracks sometimes. Like I didn't get a chance to race at Bristol because I was out of town, but I know Bristol was ridiculous fast. We did a practice race and just that rear spoiler, man. It just you're flying now, and
I actually enjoyed Bristol for the first time.
yeah, it. I mean, it was very fast in that practice race we did. I know because we did a nighttime practice race actually, and it was almost 13-second lap. So that's
Indy
mind
cars.
blowing. Yeah, literally barely lifting, using really no brake at all. Uh, how do you feel about this new package? Been like in iRacing and overall in NASCAR. How do you feel like about how it's playing out so far?
Well, yeah, kind of piggybacking off of what I said earlier. It's I think we're headed in the right direction for sure. This is the biggest departure we've ever had from the traditional iRacing races.
Right,
Um, where you're just single file. Whether you're single file or not, you're kind of just you're not affected by the other cars
you're
in the
racing
old
your own
package.
race, really.
Yeah, you're you're racing your own race, and if they're in your way, they're just in your way, and you go around them. There's really
Definitely.
no other way about it. It was all about geometry for geometry and to a lesser extent when they did the dynamic track, it was then about track grip, but aerodynamics really didn't play a part in it other than the setup.
Right,
So now it's
huge.
we have more grip. Aerodynamic is pretty much the biggest factor
I think
in the race now.
we see more multi-groove racing from it. Just
Yeah,
because people
I
try
think
not
so
to follow
too.
each other.
I was actually doing a league race. No, it was Monday, so yesterday. It was at Homestead, and it was with the Gen 6 car. I've never used the high side anywhere near that much as I did in that race.
Wow.
The high side works really well in that package. It's just it works. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why it works, but it does work better than it ever has for us. I know that in real life it's used all the time, but
In my opinion, I'm pretty happy with the package. Like I'm happy as it could be. I think with 550 horsepower and a plate on it with the draft. But do you feel like in iRacing maybe the draft is a little too strong? I don't know. I just have
I
that feeling that it's a little too much. The draft suck up.
okay. So the way I feel about it is the draft may be too strong. I feel like the dirty air itself may be too weak.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of interesting. Usually, have you got loose from Dirty Air yet?
I have, but not necessarily
Because
because
I know a lot
someone
of
got me.
I know a lot of guys fight loose in real life when they get behind someone. Like,
So what happens usually is we get tight, but
yeah,
your car is already loose, then
true.
it can be. That
Right.
can happen. I've had that happen in the peak race. And I think it was at Texas. I was a little loose and I got behind cars and I was loose. Yeah. So that did happen to me.
Definitely.
And I've also experienced someone getting really close to my rear bumper and that got me, which does happen in real life.
Yeah, that's very true. It's interesting. I think, like you said, I think the Dirty Air is a little too. It's not as powerful as what it is in real life, and I think the draft is a little bit stronger than what it is in real life.
It's definitely there though. Dirty air
It's
is there.
there. It's there now.
Sure.
It definitely is. Like you can see a noticeable difference running a different line. You can just feel that downforce on the nose. How do you feel now, Brian? After we've done a few more races on it.
Get your fancy aerodynamics out of my NASCAR. We need to make NASCAR great again. Johnson
I don't
2020.
necessarily
God,
disagree with you.
it's so, I don't like having my vehicle so dependent the other people around. I hate it.
That's why you like the other style of iRacing better, right?
I mean, I
Well, that's part of the reason.
didn't necessarily love the old package, but I don't know. I feel like it's too much of a swing. I think it's just too much change at
Yeah, the only thing I don't really like, we our league races have we've had to implement incident limit because this new package we've had some I'd like to say shit shows. You know, races that really just people don't give enough time, I think, to spread out. So I think it's one of the issues that we're seeing with the
it's
package too.
just 110%
Yeah,
done.
everybody's
And
and
it's like
it's guys,
just
new guys that
relax.
have speed now because it's not the first 10 laps I say aren't hard to drive, but after that I do think the package comes into its own of being a little more mental of battle. And also, I mean, I've had a race at Texas, and it was kind of fun because it's just fighting that dirty air and trying to figure out how to get around it. So it's definitely a win lose any situation. But I do miss the old package, but I still think dirty air should be a factor even if we had the old package. So I kind of like the bringing of dirty air into it. It's more realistic. I mean, that's what we want. So.
Give
It's,
me a
uh,
502 Chevy with 1200 horsepower and let's go racing.
I mean, I agree. I think we should have as much horsepower as possible, especially in real life.
I do too.
But I mean, I don't know. Like I always say, I don't know if insurance companies are going to insure it, and if like new OEMs want to come in and because NASCAR's kind of trying to attract new manufacturers. So
Trying to cut costs.
right, exactly, and that's really the only way. So. It's interesting. I think the Gen 7 car is going to be very important. I think that's the future of NASCAR, and I think right now we're just trying to ride out the last few years of Gen 6. So at least they're
I
NASCAR's
trying
can't
ever gonna
something.
race Teslas?
You never know.
I can't remember who said the quote. It might have been Dale Earnhardt. It might have been somebody else, but they said something to the effect of, "If you don't have enough power to spin your wheels whole
Right.
straightaway, you don't have enough power."
Yep.
Oh,
That's how I feel too.
I don't remember
oh,
who that
jeez,
was.
who was that? It wasn't Earnhardt.
Yeah, I know
Was
what
it
you're talking about
Dale?
too.
It
I don't
was
know.
a guy, his late 70s, early 80s. And it's
It,
an
Uh,
iRacing quote. It's popped up in iRacing.
yeah.
has it popped up by Iverson? Oh wow, I didn't.
Yeah, yeah,
Was
I've
it Cale
seen it a couple
Yarborough?
times.
Probably is
That
Kale.
sounds right, actually.
He was a wheel man, son.
That would
Yeah.
make sense too.
I I don't know if I'd go that far with it though, but I kind of it's close to that. I would
Yeah,
prefer at least 900.
I want throttle control back.
Yeah. I
uh,
mean, there is still throttle control
there is,
later
yeah.
in the run, but when you're at the beginning of the run, when everybody's so close, it's a dogfight at the
It
beginning.
literally is, yeah.
It's not really about car control at that point. More of
Nope.
just positioning yourself
Yep.
for the long run so then you can put your car control in place.
Definitely. And
Yeah.
you know, speaking of new packages, we will have a new package next week at Talladega as we move on from Richmond this past weekend. We're on to
Yeah.
Talladega with the new package. How do y'all? Well, first of all, we can start off peak. Um, I think iRacing the new package has gotten a lot better, so the race is going to be interesting. I think this upcoming Tuesday, that's for sure.
Yeah, so the way I feel about it is I struggled quite a bit with the Daytona opening race because of the way the package, you really couldn't go anywhere, sort of stuck in a line because it pulled out. You really weren't going to go anywhere. You're just going to go to the back. So the draft wasn't strong. We really didn't have much influence over what we did. It was more just line had to go. Um, but this package now is quite the opposite. Draft is very strong, very very strong. One of the strongest. It's really like the K&N car. It's
Right.
the strongest draft I've ever felt. Really, um, it's gonna make it wild. Say that. I don't think it's gonna matter where you start. I don't really think it's gonna matter how good your setup is. I think it's just gonna be about not wrecking and trying to position yourself win the race because it's all about position.
Right.
It's really the cars are not gonna be that hard to keep up. The pack's gonna be a huge conglomerate. That's what it is gonna be. And
So big one. It's coming.
yeah,
Everybody get your shoulder pop out because it's gonna get wild. Next Tuesday, you can check out Ben there. Go root him on that 33. It's still StockX, right, Ben?
yes,
Yep. So 33 StockX machine. I think is pretty nice and green. He's also got a new scheme. I think. Did you run that new scheme at Richmond when you sent us?
I did. Indeed. Yes.
Okay, cool. So yeah, he ran his new scheme last week, and he'll run a new scheme this week. The same one he ran from Richmond, but not the one I have up, unfortunately. Sorry, I the original. But yeah, so be cool to see you in that 33 again out there on Talladega rooting you on. But in real life, you know, I know Brakazowski said we could see tandem drafting. He thinks come back. NASCAR actually did make a change to the spoiler and added, I believe, it's either an inch or another 2 inches to the spoiler.
I think it's gonna be 10 inches.
Yeah, I think it was gonna be 10 inches for this race
Yeah,
because the
actually,
speeds were too high.
in iRacing, we can tandem.
Oh yeah, in iRacing, yeah, definitely not.
Oh, that's cool.
Wait, what? No, we can.
Oh,
That's
you
what I
can.
said.
Oh, you said you
No,
can.
we
Yeah.
can. No,
Yeah.
we can
Okay.
tandem,
Yeah, around the top, around the 3 wide. Yeah.
Yes, that's
So
dope.
it's
and it works.
yeah,
It works.
pushing works now.
But it's NASCAR screwed up though.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing: big things on the trunk lids of these cars have never worked a plate track. And I think if you get a car going backwards, going 160 miles an hour backwards, I don't know how those roof flaps are going to react with a spoiler that big, but I'd have to worry about how those roof flaps are actually pop up if the spoiler is going to bounce all that air away from those roof flaps.
Yeah, I don't know.
I wouldn't doubt seeing a car flip this weekend. We'll have to see how that plays
There's-
out, but
They're gonna be so close.
yeah.
Well,
I'm
they're
just
not
interested.
racing this weekend, are they? I thought they were off.
Oh yeah, they are off this. Yeah, true. So
Yeah.
actually, by the way, to everybody,
Easter.
next week we're off too on the Tuesday. We're gonna take
Yeah,
a week
won't-
off since
won't
no
be nothing to
NASCAR.
talk about.
Yeah. But yeah, so 2 weeks from now, when we go to Talladega, who do y'all think's the favorite? I mean, we do this thing every week, Ben, where we pick drivers, and Brian got pretty close last week. He picked
Man,
Clint Boyer, and I picked Brad Keselowski, and Brad Keselowski I think 7th and Boyer 3rd. So Brian beat me last week. Since you're a guest, Ben, you can pick first, so you have a house pick. Who you picking?
So I think this race is a pretty much one of the biggest wild cards we've ever seen.
Right.
Um, for that reason, I think I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go with. We're going with Eric Almirola.
Hey, he won
Ooh.
Talladega last time we were there. So
Yeah.
what you gonna do, Brian? I'll let you go next.
oh man, it's the Bushmeister, Chris Buescher.
Really?
Yeah, dude.
You can pick Chris
I think
Buescher? Yeah,
can
he
do
ran
it.
great at Richmond.
Well, and he was pretty good
impressive.
at Daytona too.
Yeah. Hey, that's a good wild card pick. Since
That
we're kind of, I agree. I think it's gonna be a wild finish. I think somebody's gonna win that normally doesn't win. So,
Okay, it's a good thing you finished that.
oh, what?
I thought you were
I think
about to
somebody's
say.
gonna win.
I think somebody's gonna win.
Oh.
I think somebody's gonna win.
Someone's definitely gonna win. I don't care if it's Carl Edwards. You got to run across the finish line. But yeah, I'm actually gonna pick a first-time winner of Daniel Suarez. I think Daniel Suarez
Ooh,
is
that's
gonna
a
win
good
that
pick, too.
41. Stuart Haas, they look good there last year. Different package now, but I think Daniel Suarez could win it. I mean, he's been there before. I think that'd be a cool
He's
win.
got momentum too.
And yeah, and so Going to be interesting. Like Ben said, I think it's gonna be a huge wild card. Really,
Well,
those are the hardest tracks.
none of us none of us have ever seen this
Right?
race. So, and the drivers really don't know what they're gonna see here. It's just like our auto club race. It was the
Definitely
first race we had ever done.
of its kind. Really, it's like what it's gonna happen.
Yeah, we have no clue.
Oh, don't
So
remind me.
I'm excited for it. I really
I
am.
am. Yeah, same. I really want to see what it produces. Because I love the Daytona race this earlier this year. I think I was worried about Daytona. When we saw the first couple races with the duels and the shootout, but
Yeah, they
man,
were a little boring.
yeah, but man, that Daytona 500 was good. So I think this package could be even better. They're definitely gonna be faster, I believe. They do have more horsepower, so that's why they
Well,
added that extra spoiler for this race because they did do a test after Daytona and they didn't like the high top speeds down the straights. My
that
dog
draft
wants.
is gonna be insane.
Oh, it's gonna be ridiculous this time.
Yeah.
You're gonna be able to get probably 3 car slingshot.
Right. So we'll go on to Talladega next week. Before we end it here, since we're wrapping up, I just want to thank you, Ben, first of all, for coming on, man. We really
Yes,
appreciate it.
sir.
Yeah, it's a huge honor to have you on, bud, and you're one of our best buds, and we're so proud of you, man, and everything you do. So before I start doing all our stuff, really let everybody out there know who gets it done for you, and who helps you out.
Well, first and foremost, I got to give a shout out to Team Dylan East. They taking a chance on me, and I hope that I can help them grow their business some way and take me along with them. And Pinnacle Racing Group for picking me up and getting me to where I am today. You guys for being such great friends along the way. Uh, Friends are what makes this enjoyable to people. So the experience has to be accompanied by people that you enjoy being around, and you guys are that for me. Um, I'd also like to say I'd have to thank MSME Media for supporting me too. They have helped
Right.
along the way before Team Dylan got me. They still sponsor me for leagues,
Yeah,
so
that's all right. Yep.
them too, and this Shotgun Marie Tooth Association, them as well, and just everybody that's even all the competitors I've faced that they've helped me a long time to get here. So uh, I owe a lot of things to like a lot of my knowledge base to a lot of people that may not even know that they gave it, but
Yeah.
it's pretty cool. Um, that and I guess my family does put up with a lot of me not helping them. I guess with racing, it used to happen a lot more when I was a little
Very
younger.
busy man
But
now. Yeah.
yeah, uh, they put up with a lot, and I'm glad that they allow me to do this sort of on a scheduled basis. I like it, and I know that I'm an adult. Just I don't want to make them. I don't want to make them mad. So I'm
Definitely.
glad to put up with. That's just pretty much it.
All right, man. Thank you. Yeah. Is there a Twitter handle? Yeah, your Twitter handle. You can so people can go out there and follow you on Twitter.
Yes, I recently changed that. The official handle is BW Nelson 33.
Nice. Dang, that matches your number. I like that. Nice, man.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
cool. It'll be definitely easy there for everybody to tag you in there and find you. So when you're watching the peak races, if you're retweeting it or tweeting it or putting it out there somewhere, tag Ben in it. So let everybody know you're rooting for Nelson Nation. Hashtag Nelson
Yeah,
Nation out
that
there in
was
the
crazy
chats.
on that peak draft. Did you
Yeah,
guys see
no, that was awesome. Yeah, we were out there watching. Man, it was really cool. Yeah, we gotta give I gotta give a shout out to our sponsor, Freaky Fast Broadcasting, and Robert Moore Jr. out there. He helps us with a lot of stuff. Really puts our name out there in the light. And I want to thank everybody who tuned in. We had up to 15 viewers at one point.
Hell yeah.
25 comments tonight. So if anybody out there still in chat and you ain't liked it, maybe drop a like for us or something, or never know dislike. If you didn't like it, just let us know because we're always open to the criticism and feedback. Want to make this thing better. I got to thank Brian Johnson, my co-host. Just thank you for hanging in there with me, bud, and and,
What are you
and, and
thanking me for?
well, I'm thanking you because you helped me a little bit now. I ain't doing all this by myself.
I
Uh,
try. I try.
and I want to thank you for winning the race tonight. You made my day. Ben, I don't know if
It
you've
helps
heard
to
me
have a
say
good
this,
truck.
Ben, but since I've been doing this setup stuff, it's more like I get more like good feeling out of my setup, like doing good, than almost me doing good in the race. It's weird. I don't know how to explain it. It's almost like your baby out there running on the track, and you're like,
Because Zach knows I'm good all the
The pride.
yeah. It's definitely
Yeah, I
I've
totally didn't
loved it.
slide through my pit box.
Yeah, totally did after I told him to slow down.
The pride of Zach Hall.
Yeah,
Wins
no,
the race.
exactly. It's like my pride out there. And I gotta give a shout out to VRS also for that. Because without VRS, I would have never learned anything I learned. Mostly Uncle. I like to
Tell him
call him
our
Uncle
secret.
Keegan. I tell him Uncle
Uncle Keegan.
Keegan. That's what me
Keegan
and Brian
Leahy.
call Keegan Leahy. Shout out to Keegan. You were the man. You
Uncle Keegan.
really taught me a lot, man. I like listening to everything he has to say. It's always good. Also, Bobby, of course, Bobby Zielinski out there. He also does the dad packs too. He's always good information man. For information too. But just shout out to VRS because without them guys, I really wouldn't have learned anything. I mean, this is a hard thing to get into, and gotta give them guys a shout out because they really help us start off the week with somewhere to start. And I mean, it ain't like we always go with that, but sometimes it's a little bit better and better to build off of. So I appreciate that. So if anybody out there you need to get your data packs, go check out VRS. They got a great deal on all their competition packs and stuff. They're very useful. Let me say, and the telemetry is amazing. It's very good. Um, I love using that. So gotta give a shout out to VRS. And really everybody tuned in. Thanks guys. We appreciate it. If you guys ain't got nothing else in, then we can get out here. So hit the sack maybe.
Well, I'd like to say thank you for everybody. It means a lot, and I know it means a lot to them. My two friends here, Zach and Ryan,
Definitely,
it means a
yeah.
lot to them. Uh,
Yeah.
I don't mean to speak for you guys, but I know it does.
Oh, it
So,
definitely does.
How dare you put words in my mouth?
hey, you're over there. I'll put them in there in person.
Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah, you know where to find me.
Yeah. What's the good story of you guys were going to school together and y'all didn't even know it till one day randomly?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, we went to school together for a whole semester and didn't even know it.
like, hey, who's that?
That's so amazing. Like we
Because
were doing endurance races with each other and
I
stuff, and
kept
didn't even
hearing
know.
this voice, and I was like, that sounds like Ben. And then I saw you, and I was like, man, I don't know what he looks like, though. And then I looked you up on Facebook real quick. I was like, well, that kind of looks like him. I don't think that's him. And then a couple weeks later, I think we were in the parking lot or something.
You heard
I
his
got a nice
voice.
close up of you. I saw you up close. I was like, man, that's got to be Ben. And that's how it happened. It took about 2 months though.
That's hilarious. That's such a cool story. Uh, well, appreciate everybody tuning in. Also, Ben, you want? I don't know. This is kind of on the spot, but you know, I think the Nurburgring 24 is coming up in like June or something. I think maybe it may be May. Yeah, I think it's in
Oh,
May.
think about that,
Uh, Brian's gonna run it, right, Brian?
man.
This man has never rode a lap around the Nurburgring, Ben.
I don't even have it.
That's gotta have to change.
Right? That's what I told him.
Yeah.
That track's too big. Man.
You
Can't
do the
remember all
Nordschleife,
those
man. Come
turns.
on. But yeah, we're maybe possibly doing the 24 hours in Nurburgring again. So hopefully we can all team up again and maybe bring home a victory. So that'd be pretty
What
cool.
car are you planning on running?
I guess we're gonna run a GT3. I imagine. So something. Well, I don't think they have announced all the GT3s there yet, but I think it'll be 4 GT3s in the race. So
They don't run LMP ones there.
no, well they do
Yes.
in real life. They run a 24-hour race there, but they don't race the LMP ones. They race like
Or
everything
the whatever the
except them.
equivalent is.
They don't race them there.
Oh,
Unfortunately,
come
it's I think the track's not safe enough. But yes, everybody can be looking
Safe.
forward to that. Check Ben out again next week at Talladega on Tuesday night at 9 p.m. on Race Spot. And I believe iRacing Esports Network on YouTube and Twitch and Facebook. So definitely check
Or
them
on
out
the
and get in the
iRacing
chat.
portal as well.
yeah, an Iris portal. So get in that chat out there and put your hashtag Nelson Nation out there and put some support on Ben because maybe we can all put our energy together and push that car to the lead. So
I'll feel it.
yeah, right.
Slap him some support so he'll shake his butt.
His butt shaker. That's gonna be the topic of this podcast. But like I said again, appreciate everybody coming out, and everybody have a good night. Thank y'all for stopping in and tuning in. Peace out, everybody.
Later, dudes.
See ya.